Dimetrodon is fast becoming one of the most popular dinosaurs on the internet. Except it's not a dinosaur. In fact, it went extinct millions of years before any dinosaur ever existed. In this video, we'll explore 10 amazing facts about the Dimetrodon. Number 10. Dimetrodon wasn't technically a dinosaur. Although Dimetrodon certainly looks like a dinosaur, it was actually a type of prehistoric reptile known as a pelycosaur, and it lived during the Permian period, 50 million years before the first dinosaurs had even evolved. Pelycosaurs were more closely related to therapsids, or mammal-like reptiles, than to the archosaurs that spawned the dinosaurs, which means the Dimetrodon was in fact closer to a mammal than a dinosaur. Number 9. Dimetrodon appeared in the Jurassic Park franchise. Dimetrodon did not appear in the Jurassic Park movies or novels, but it did feature in the games and toy franchise. The collector card from the Kenner toy line states the following. Scientists once speculated that Dimetrodon's unique dorsal structure was used as a sail to help the animals swim. Now, however, the more widely accepted explanation is that the spines were involved in regulating body temperature, as blood flowing through the sail could be warmed or cooled more quickly than in the rest of the body. Number 8. Dimetrodon used its sail for temperature regulation. As mentioned earlier, the most distinctive feature of the Dimetrodon was this pelycosaur's giant sail, the like of which wasn't seen again until the mighty Spinosaurus, which appeared in the Cretaceous period. Since this slow-moving reptile almost certainly had a cold-blooded metabolism, it probably evolved its sail as a temperature regulation device, using it to absorb valuable sunlight during the daytime, like a calculator, and dissipate excess heat at night. Although it might have been used for sex, attracting a mate. Number 7. Dimetrodon was named after its two kinds of teeth. You'd think that Dimetrodon was named after its prominent sail, but it was in fact named after one of its more obscure features, the two separate kinds of teeth embedded in its jaws. The teeth set of the Dimetrodon included sharp canines in the front of its snout, ideal for digging into quivering, newly killed prey, and shearing teeth in the back for grinding up tough muscle and bone. But the Dimetrodon would pale in comparison to the teeth of the dinos that came 10 million years later. Number 6. Dimetrodon was a close relative of Edaphosaurus. At first glance, the 200-pound Edaphosaurus looks like a scaled-down version of the Dimetrodon. However, this ancient pelycosaur lived on mostly plants and mollusks, whereas Dimetrodon was a devoted meat-eater. Edaphosaurus lived slightly before the golden age of the Dimetrodon, during the late Carboniferous and early Permian periods, but it's possible that these two genera briefly overlapped, meaning Dimetrodon may have eaten its smaller cousin Edaphosaurus. Number 5. Dimetrodon walked funny. One major difference between the dinosaurs and pelycosaurs that preceded them was the upright, locked-in orientation of their limbs. That's why we can be certain that Dimetrodon wasn't a dinosaur. This reptile walked with a distinctly ambling, splay-footed, crocodilian manner, in contrast to the upright posture of the comparably sized quadrupedal dinosaurs that evolved tens of millions of years later. Number 4. Dimetrodon has been given many names. As is the case with many prehistoric animals discovered in the 19th century, Dimetrodons had a complicated fossil history. Edward Drinker Cope assigned the name Clepsydrops to a fossil specimen uncovered in Texas, a year before naming it Dimetrodon. 2 decades later, another paleontologist erected one more unnecessary genus, the now discarded Bathygaliptus. Number 3. Male Dimetrodons were larger than females. Thanks to the fact that so many Dimetrodon fossils have been discovered, paleontologists can infer the difference between the sexes. Full-grown males were slightly larger, about 15 feet long and 500 pounds, with thicker bones and more prominent sails. This lends support to the theory that Dimetrodon's sail was at least partly used for attracting a mate. Males with larger sails were more attractive to females during the mating season, and thus helped to propagate this trait to succeeding bloodlines. Number 2. There are over a dozen named Dimetrodon species. There are no less than 15 named species of Dimetrodon, the vast majority of which have been discovered in North America, and a majority of those in Texas. Only one species, D. tutinus, hails from Western Europe, which was connected to North America hundreds of millions of years ago. A full 1/3 of these species were named by the famous dinosaur hunter Edward Drinker Cope, which may help to explain why Dimetrodon is so often identified as a dinosaur rather than a pelycosaur. And number 1. For decades, Dimetrodon lacked a tail. If you look at very old illustrations of Dimetrodon, you may notice that this pelycosaur is depicted with only one tiny stub of a tail. The reason being that all of the Dimetrodon specimens discovered in the early 20th century lacked tails, the bones of which were detached after the death of the animal. It was only in 1927 that a fossil bed in Texas yielded the first identified tailed Dimetrodon. So there you have it. Which dinosaur video would you like to see next? Any ideas? Please let me know in the comments below. Also, please share, subscribe, and comment, all that good stuff. I'll see you later.